ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4. We are now at the concluding section of the study, and the last shloka, the last verse, remains to be studied in great detail, because it is a conclusion of the fourth chapter, at the same time an introduction to the fifth chapter. And it is so beautifully organized, the study, the writing and the arrangement of these 18 chapters, not only chapter-wise, but even verse-wise, they always are linked with the other, are linked with the other. You never feel disconnected. The connectivity is always there. Now, before I start, there's another aspect of the study of the Gita which I have repeatedly highlighted and requested you to remember. That is, when you study the Gita, or for that matter, any Indian scriptures, whether it's Upanishad, whether portion of the Vedas, whether it's other schools of philosophy, always know somehow or other the ancient teachers have set up a pattern. What is that pattern? From the modern mind and from the modern concept, I will not use those ancient words as a pattern. Let me be very updated, up to date. Firstly, the subject is informative. It informs you of something which you have never heard before. Or even if you have heard, you have not paid any attention before. It is informative in such a manner, it attracts your attention. Oh, is this so? Let me see what it says. Informative. And when you look deep into it, it is assimilative. Therefore, it is educative. It educates me of certain ideas which were not known to me. The information is placed to you in such an attractive manner that you get interested and you assimilate that information, and that is the process of education. Informative, educative, all that is in the brain. The next is instructive. How to take help of those ideas to transform my personality from an egocentric human to oneness with the divine. The instruction means how to put this rock solid, crystal clear conviction into practice. Informative, educative, instructive. And the last word is descriptive. What will happen to us? What will happen to you? what will happen to me if I totally saturate myself with these ideas and the self-education through the instruction, development of my personality, egocentric, separatist, individualistic personality to one with the divine. What happens to me then? Do I grow two horns and a long tail in a human body to prove that I am a realized soul? So signs and symptoms and description of the behavior pattern of a realized soul is also mentioned. Why? So that we have a yardstick to measure our achievement. We do not deceive ourselves. And as far as self-deception is concerned, we humans are past masters in that subject. Self-deception. I always try to show off what I am not. Why? To attract your admiration, your adoration, your appreciation. That is my nature. Why? Because I am suffering from that separatist ideal. I and you are different, so I am holier than thou, I am better than thou. So please remember that it is informative, it is educative, it is instructive and descriptive. All these four aspects of the scriptures are to be found in the Gita, placed in an excellent form, because it is God who is speaking himself. He has made a mouthpiece for the whole human society as Arjuna. Through Arjuna, whosoever studies the Gita is interacting directly with the words and advice of God. This is what it is. So we are now coming to the end of the fourth chapter. In the fourth chapter, we have been told firstly, let me just summarize so that we conclude the fourth chapter today. Arjuna asked Krishna, Sir, physically you happen to be my cousin brother. You are a bit elder to me, and I admit you are more mature than I am. But how do you claim that this concept of karma yoga was enunciated by you, and you spoke to Marichi, Aditya and others who are born much before us? They are in history, and you say sitting here in my presence that you have taught them all. What a contradiction. How is that possible? See how commonsensical it is, and how simple the starting point is. Sri Krishna replies, look Arjuna, I am born over and over again, as and when it is required. The requirement is, when I see my children, they are not following the dictates of mine, and they are being drawn towards other things of the world, and they go astray off the track and create blunders after blunders and put themselves in great trouble. Looking at that condition out of sheer compassion, without any personal axe to grind, I am born over and over again. I remember everything. You are also born over and over and over again, but you remember nothing, not even the details of this life. What to speak of the past? So who are you, sir? Who are you? Then he says, I am the divine, and I have incarnated myself in this human body to re-establish the lost values of spiritual wisdom, so-called religion, and to help my children by setting an example to them how they should live in this world so that they can evolve themselves from an egocentric human being to be one with the divine. This is my purpose of being born. And that is why I am telling you, it is I who have taught those people in the past, and I am teaching you today, and I will continue to teach the human society as and when it is required. This is the concept of reincarnation of the divine and in reincarnation of the human. What is the difference? I am born to fulfill my unfulfilled desires in this world. I have no freedom. My desires are the calling factors. They call what will happen, what will not happen. Whereas he is desirous to help. He has no other desire. He comes down out of sheer compassion. That is how he starts. Then he carries on. What is his purpose? What does he do? And etc. etc. So good enough. If it is your purpose, how do I stand to gain? So he says, you do stand to gain. What? That my birth, janma, my birth, karma, my activities in this world, they are divyam dotanavan. That is their effulgent, their shining example as what you must do in your life. Janma karma chame divyam. He who knows this and understands it in reality, in its entirety, he will merge with me when his body falls off. He will be free from the bondages of his past. That is the purpose for you interacting with me, listening to me. That is the purpose. All that we have studied. Now he says, how do you live in this world? Convert your flow of life. Life is an activity. If you are enlightened enough, you perform your duties and you are allowed to have hobbies. Carry on with your duties and hobbies. But do it as a karma yogi, an attitude of yajna, attitude of sacrifice. All my self-interest, all my egocentric attitudes are being burnt in the sacrificial fire. The only attitude that remains is, I am one with God all the time. That is yajna for you. And he says how to perform yajna and etc., etc., etc. The ritualistic aspect of yajna is now being interpreted in a spiritual aspect, performable, doable, attainable, achievable by an ordinary human. Arjuna is getting interested. How do I achieve that? So he says, listen, you have to be Shraddhavan, tatparaha, sanjata indriyaha. 3 virtues, 3 qualities which we have to cultivate in our life. What is that? Let us be very realistic. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. A person who has Shraddha achieves that knowledge of oneness with the divine, oneness with the universe, because divine is all over the universe. There's not a speck of space or an iota of time where divine is not. And I am trying to identify myself with that divine. As of today, as I am constituted, divine word is an imagination for me. And as because I am a realistic person, full of realism, I see you. I see the world, I hear the world, sounds of the world, I smell the fragrances and bad odor of the world. I touch it and I taste it. That is real concrete to me. God is an imagination. And because of that, my attitude towards God, my concept of God is always wavering, like a wave, ups and downs. I believe, I disbelieve. I believe, I disbelieve. When my wish is fulfilled, I'm charitable and I say, oh, it is God's blessings. And when my wishes are not fulfilled, God does not exist. He doesn't listen to me. So I am hesitant, I am doubtful about the existence of God. What is Shraddha? Let me tell you the Sanskrit definition of Shraddha. Guru Vakyeshu, Vedanta Vakyeshu, Ativa Vishwasa Shraddha. This is a simple definition. I am left to myself. I am swinging like a pendulum regarding existence of God. When there is that doubt and hesitancy, there is no growth, no motivation, no steady advancement. I am wavering here and there like a pendulum between 2 extremes. Shraddha is a realized soul, my Guru, my Guru's Guru, the Avatara. He has said, God is. Whether I understand, whether I experience or not, I must have an unshakable faith and belief in what my teacher has said. Unwavering, unshakable, unhesitating attitude regarding God. He is. Whatever may happen around me in this world, my faith and belief in God remains unshakable. Respect, reverence, love, fear, call it by any emotion. All those are centered around the divine. Ativa Vishwasa means inexplicable, not a describable depth of belief and faith and conviction. That is Shraddha. Well, that Shraddha has to be practicalized. I have understood what Shraddha is. But while life and living, I forget. Because I'm used to that. I'm habituated. So that force of habit shakes my Shraddha. Tatparata means efficient execution or efficient performance of your conviction. Come what may, fair or foul, achievable or non-achievable, immaterial, I know I will reach there, and this is the practical aspect of my Shraddha. I've developed a rock-solid, crystal-clear, unshakable conviction. And tatparata means you are now in the process of putting into performance your intellectual conviction. How can that be achieved? Sanjata indriya. Restraint, constraint, have a control over the movement of your sense organs. What does it mean? The words are there. I have a vague idea. Yes, controlling, restraining, constraining. These words have a grammatic meaning. But my indriyas, sense organs, are all involuntary. If I am not blind, if I open my eyes, I will see. Nobody can stop it. If I am not deaf, if there is the slightest of sound, I will hear. That will distract me. Smelling, tasting, touching, all 5 of them are involuntary organs. They don't move according to my dictates. So what does it Sanjata Indriya means? What is it in actual performance? People make a mistake. They say annihilation, extinction of these values. By mistake. That's a mistaken understanding. No, dear. It is iti. It is not negative. It is positive. What is the positiveness? I am told God is omnipotent, God is omniscient, God is omnipresent. He is everywhere, He knows everything, and He is all-time existing. Infinite, eternal, absolute. Immutable, therefore absolute. He is everywhere. So, I now educate my eyesight. In cooperation with my thinking, ideas of my brain, movement of my mind, I am seeing you. It is involuntary. I can't stop seeing you if I am not blind. But now I am educating myself to see you as a representative of my Ishtadev, of my chosen deity. So what is happening? I was looking at you and I stopped where? Your name, your form, your qualities, your utilitarian value. A human being of the society, of this name, this form, shape, these are his achievements, And these are the utilitarian value of that person in the society. And I stop there. And I say, I am and you are. Now what am I doing as a sanyata indriya, as a restrained, controlled, educating way of introducing myself? How do I do so? I see. I don't blind my eyes. I don't put hot lead in my ears to make me deaf. No, they are all active. But my brain is coordinating in such a manner that awareness of presence of the divine in the form of my Ishtadev is always there. That is Sanjata Indriya, that is Tatparata, coming out from Ativa Vishwasa, unshakable, unmovable confidence in the words of the Vedanta, the philosophy, and Guru. This is how it has to be understood. Only word-to-word meaning will not change my personality. My personality has to change by my willful effort and endeavor. This is the endeavor. So he says here that look, a person who has that Shraddha in him, now I am going to use the word Shraddha because I have explained it to you very clearly. Let me stick on to that word because an actual whole meaning of the word Shraddha is not available in one word in English. It is respect, it is reverence, it is emotional affection, love, fear, everything together. An unshakable conviction which will never change whatever happens in the world. Even the world disappears, I don't mind. I know my Guru has said, God is. Not only God is, He is attainable, achievable, reachable, doable. That's enough for me. So this is how he explains. The next is, well, what do I gain? Tell me now, describe me to now, after all this information, education and instruction, where will I go? What will I reach? And he says in the next shloka number 35, Jaj gyatva na punar moham eva jasyasi pandava. Having experienced which, what? The successful performance of Shraddhavan, Tatparata and Sanjata Indriya. By this performance, your Guru will advise you. Now, having received that advice, what will happen to you? By reaching that goal on which you have started your journey now, by reaching that goal, Jajgyatva, having reached that goal, you will never fall back again into this domain of illusion. You have found out your lost identity. I am Satchidananda Swarup Atma. I am Satchidananda Swarup Brahma. I am Atma Brahma Swarup. Aham Brahmasmi. One after the other. This is what will happen. And knowing your true identity, you will never, never, never make that mistake again. of thinking yourself a mortal under the influence of ajnana shakti. Jnana has cut asunder your ajnana. He says, with jnana roop ashi, that is a sword, cut asunder the jnana, and you will be ensconced, you will be established, irremovably established in the awareness of your own true original nature. And once you know who you are never going to lose your identity. However we may try today, can I disidentify myself with my heritage, with my name, with my form, with my qualities and my utilitarian value? Can I? Similarly, when I move from this to that identity gets hold of me and all other entities are burnt away, never to come back again. And what will happen to you? You will not grow two horns and a long tail in a human body, as Sri Ramakrishna used to jokingly say. What will happen is, with your wide open eyes, you will be conducting your business of life, but you will be conducting with the divine who has infinite diverse forms. You enjoy the world with the awareness of the presence of the divine in every nook and corner of the world. So the question of that joy is indescribable, but it is experienceable. You will experience that joy. Well, dears, he has now said, Pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Pranipat is to fly flat on your face, on your stomach, to touch your elder's feet. That is a physical symbol of humility. Pariprashna is genuine, relevant questions to remove your doubt. That is pariprashnena and sevaya. You serve him. Serve him such a manner he has an occasion to see you through and through. And then he decides how to guide you to reach that goal. This is physical symbolism, whereas Shraddha, Tatparata and Sanjata Indriya, these are in your understanding. It is an idea which has to be idealized into a reality. These are the two differences, physical and intellectual, emotional, egoistic. All your four faculties combined and integrated into one. Now, last but one shloka, which is both the conclusion and at the same time an introduction to the next chapter. How it will raise doubts in our mind. Let us read the two verses, the closing verses. What does he say? Yoga sanyasya karmanam. Jnana sangshinna sangsayam. Let us stop. Let us divide the first line of this verse into two parts. Each one is a direction and instruction, as well as a description. What does it say? Yoga Sanyasya Karmanam. Today as I am the doer. Today as I am studying the Gita. I am egoistically involved. And I am doing it as a part of my duty of life. The life that I have chosen as a whole-time professional, a sannyasi. Whole-time professional. He says, for you must get rid of that I am the doer. How do you get rid of it? Yoga Sanyasya Karmana. What does Karma Yoga teach you? The Karma Yoga teaches you, I am not the doer. I am an instrument in the hands of the divine. And I will do not as I will it. I will do what he wants me to do. And he has given enough instruction to me, what he wants to be and what he wants me to do. That is Karma Yoga. Thereby, Sanyasya Karmana means I am the doer. That idea disappears from me. Sannyasa, total rejection of that idea. I am an instrument in the hands of Lord. Let him get me do whatever he wants me to do. I don't take my breath without his permission. That type of dependence. Yoga Sanyasya Karmana. Total rejection of I am the doer. How can it happen? With the practical performance of your duties of life, and then you Jnana Samschinna Samshayam. Jnana, your rock solid, crystal clear, unshakable conviction. That conviction cuts at the root of all doubts and hesitancy. I am on the right path. Nothing will change my conviction. This is Jnana Samschinna Ajnana. That is, Jnana is compared to a sword, a sharp sword. It cuts into pieces my ignorance of my true original nature. Atmavantam na karmani nivadyanti he Dhananjaya. He Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is a ruler or acquisitor of enormous wealth. He who has acquired enormous wealth, worldly. You have acquired enormous wealth in the world, Arjuna. Do you know what wealth is this? Try to achieve this wealth now. All through the Gita, he addresses Arjuna in hundreds and different of names relevant to the subject matter of the discussion. Here he addresses him Dhananjaya. He could have addressed him as Arjuna. He could have addressed him as Panduputra, Pandya. He could have addressed him as Kuntiputra, Kaunteya, Partha. He never addresses that way. He addresses him as Dhananjaya. You have acquired enormous worldly wealth. What about this wealth, Arjuna? Will you remain poor and bankrupt on that side? You better pay attention there. Because Arjuna is still swinging like a pendulum in doubt. His doubt will be dissipated in the 18th chapter, last sloka. So, he says here, look, yoga sanyasya karmanam. by performing karma yoga, this egoistic attitude of doing things in my life, that egoistic attitude has to be totally got rid of. Rejected, totally renunciated. Sannyasya means sannyasa, kurvanta. Sannyasa, total samyak nyasa, total rejection of that idea. It is uprooted in such a manner that no trace remains in me. Ego. That will happen by practicing karma yoga in day-to-day life. Yoga sannyasya karmanam jnana sanchinna sangsayam atmabantam. You are ever poised in the majesty, the excellence, the glory of your own true original nature. Satchidananda Swarupaham Shivoham Shivoham. I am nothing else but that eternal bliss. Nothing but that. I am Sat Swarup, Chit Swarup, Ananda Swarup, Atma, symbolically expressed, Shivam Shantam Shuddham. I am that. When you achieve that, all the bondage, what to speak of disturbing you, what to speak of touching you, it cannot reach you. You are high above all this dirt and dross. You are the eternal spectator of the panorama of the world, being one with the Lord God incarnate. That is what happens to you. Here the word sannyasa has been used. Yoga has been used. And both of them has been used together. Mark this one. Arjuna will ask in the next para, introduction, that Krishna, you confuse me totally. At one hand, you praise karma yoga. And you next breath, you are praising karma sannyasa. Would you kindly stop being enigmatic to me, puzzling to me? Could you speak straight, simple words which I can understand? That is how the 5th chapter starts. So let us see the last shloka, the concluding shloka of the 4th chapter, which concludes the teachings of the 4th and makes room enough, ground enough to see and think what the 5th chapter has to say. Tasmat, QED, therefore, I am now ending. What does he say? Ajnana sambhutam ristham jnanasina atmanaha chitva enam samshayam yogam atishta uttishta bharata. Now he is addressing Arjuna as Bharata Vangsha Kulodbhava, the descendant of Maharaja Bharata, the person in whose name we are known, the Indian landmass is known as Bharat Varsha or Bharata in short. He is the first emperor who ruled whole of India, and he was both an emperor as well as a Brahmacharya. Raja cum Rishi, both together. You belong to that family, Arjuna, don't forget. Don't lie low and keep on bleating like a lamb. You are lion-hearted. You belong to that clan. So what behoves you? Get hold of a sharp sword, symbolized by the word Ashi. Ashi is a sword in Sanskrit. Cut at the root of your suspicious nature And where is that suspicious nature is to be found? In the core of your thinking, in the core of your heart. You know, when you have to kill an enemy, you have to know where the enemy is hiding. And then you have a missile, self-directing missile, it goes and finds out that enemy and then kills it. Similarly, you must first know where is this ajnana very well established, settled, ensconced, irremovably placed. In what place? It is in the core of your heart. Core of your heart means it's the basis of your thinking. What is the basis of your thinking? I am separate from you. I am separate entity from the world. This sense of separateness is caused by ajnana. You have forgotten your true original nature and you are conducting your lifestyle, your life pattern, your behavior procedures by the mistaken identity of what you are not. Misconception, misunderstanding, misknowing, a misnomer. But I am the divine. So he says in the conclusion that look, ajnana sambhutam ristham. Ristham ajnana sambhutam sansayam. This is how the paraphrase is. What's that? Deep in your being, that separateness which is the cause of all your hesitancy and doubt is concealed. It is there. It is concealed there. Ristham ajnana sambhutam. It arises from ignorance. What? The doubt and hesitancy, sansayam. Ristham ajnana sambhutam sansayam jnana ashina chitva. With the sword known as jnana, you cut it into pieces. And having done so, chitva enam sansayam. Having done so, by cutting the root of your doubting, which is based on your ignorance of your true original nature, yogam atishta, be absolutely irremovably placed, ensconced from where you cannot be taken up. Yoga Matisha. And what is this yoga? Karma yoga and Jnana yoga together. Karma yoga is means to an end. The means and the end together. Atishta, be ensconced in it, being irremovably placed in it. As for instance, I am sitting in the chair and you can't pull me out. I am absolutely fixed to this chair. Be fixed to this idea that you are not what you think yourself to be. You are the soul. Atishta, and therefore arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. Uttishtata jagrata prapya varan nivodat. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. With these words, Sri Krishna ends the 4th chapter. Yogam atishta uttishta. This is one word. Keep in mind. Yoga sannyasya karmana. That is the another word. Yoga and sannyasa, two concepts have been used there. The two concepts have been used here. Keep it in mind and prepare yourself for the introduction of the 5th chapter in our next discourse. As for now, we complete the 4th chapter with the due reverence to the divine teacher, the reciter of the Gita, Vasudeva Patyam, Vasudeva Sri Krishna. Thank you, dears. Thank you ever so much.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.